Okay.
Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
this is Arthur Munier, founder of the Neural Somatic Integration program that we're going to be hearing a little bit about. So Arthur, tell me a little about yourself. Where are you from?
Originally from New York, where I grew up, and spent, after being in New York for about 21 years, I made a journey across the country and found this place called Esalen Institute. And I spent, and I still am, 40 years, from 1974 on.
At Esalen.
Yeah, and Esalen is a human potential movement that started in the 60s and was focused on people and humanness and wanting to be authentic.
And what was your specialty there? What was your work?
Body work. Did a lot of body work and process work. I spent a lot of time, most of the time, working on myself and experiencing any modality I wanted, whether it be Reiki, trigger point, massage, Reikian therapy, Gestalt, all sorts of different experiences. From shamans to gurus to professors to therapists to Indians and cowboys.
And what would you say you were looking for?
Myself.
And have you found yourself?
I haven't found myself, and I don't think really anyone can, that's just my opinion, but I feel safer with myself. Much more safer.
And so now you work with others to help them find themselves?
Help them feel safe.
Feel safe.
Yeah. I think that the search that I had for finding myself really revolved around, well, if I find myself, then I'll be safe. And then I began to realize, well, why don't I just experience things that are safe in my life instead of getting myself involved in things that aren't safe, or people, or whatever.
When you say safe, could you expand that a little bit? Are you talking about physical safety? To give me.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm talking about physical safeness, being safe with my physicalness, emotionally safe, spiritually safe, and mentally safe. So when all of those are in balance, either with nature or other humans, or I consider humans part of nature, although it can get difficult to think that. I see a lot of pain in the world.
And do you feel that most people experience this safety or don't experience this?
No, I think that they experience it, but they just don't know that they are. I think that most of my experience was defending. So if I'm defending, then I can't honor the safety in me. Because I'm always out there.
And what exactly were you defending?
Anything. Anything that would be about me if I wasn't good enough, or this or that. If it was negative, I always defended against it. Even if it was constructive, I would defend. Immediately, I would shut down. And I began to realize people are saying things that were meaningful to me. My son, for one. Right? I seem to, trusting my son was a big change in my life. From the moment that the experience of having a son, I began to see and experience truth.
And what is your message for people who might become interested in your program? What is it? What are you offering them?
I'm offering them, first of all, a safe time. A place that you can come and not be judged or criticized, but supported in what is actually happening to your body. Not so much the story, because the story is just like a bookmark. But this is really getting to know, well, what does that feel like? Where is it? What is is it doing?
And what's the purpose for this body focus? What's the body got to do with this?
Well, the body is this huge container. It holds and attempts to recycle everything. Like all of the other organs, they take things in, the blood takes in, filtration systems, respiratory systems, they're all filtering and all taking what feels safe in the system and what doesn't, it's eliminated. Like with the mind, it's a different thing. I seem to think, how does the mind eliminate these negative experiences or these traumatic experiences? And it seemed that I was made to believe that, well, you talk about it, go see a therapist, and, you'll resolve it. And that wasn't enough. I hadn't resolved some things. I did others. But not this kind of lonely, empty, kind of don't belong feeling.
And you find these feelings in your body, in your physical body?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely.
And then what do you do once you find them?
Well, before I would say, the old thing was, we'll get into it, face it, go through it. And now it's the opposite. It's like give it space, touch it, but give it space and go to a place that feels good. And also the engagement of another human being there for me in a way of holding space really allows me to feel in some ways protected and cared for, which I did not have when I originally had these experiences. So that adds a neural connection of safety. Hey, I'm with someone.
Okay. So what are the most relevant historical figures that you've worked with that have led to this kind of work? Who would you name as your key ancestors or people that you credit with helping you cut this path?
Yeah, it's so everybody has touched me in some way, and when I look at people like Gregory Bateson or who really had such a depth of nature and connection and simpleness in many ways. And I met him at Esalen, and there's so many. There's Stan Groff and Richard Price, Dick Price, who really kept Esalen going, and through his own work and his own gestalt, I really was touched by him. Great people, Dr. Levine, Peter, who has really taken the work to another level, as well as Dr. Stephen Porges, who has really put many, many neurological things into context. And has been able to explain it in a way that's not threatening. Right? Rolf, Feldenkrais, Upledger, Reiki, Trigger Point, Travell, all forms have. I did yoga, Shivananda yoga, which totally changed my body. And it wasn't into pushing. I could do it easily, and I see. I'm holding on to the muscle. I don't have to try to push it. It'll let go of itself. So I spent a lot of time learning, like, I'm holding the muscle, so why do I need to push it? What's holding it? Not why, what? Or how? How can I do this? Those are some of the people.
Right. Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, Dr. Levine's work is primarily focused on trauma victims, people who've suffered some childhood or military experience which has left them brain damaged or traumatized. And is that the line of work you're pursuing?
That too, yeah. I'm really basically, if we call it trauma, or we call it defense, call it dissociation, call it flight, call it freeze, call it whatever, that these are all some forms of neural non-integration. And this work is about allowing the person to integrate, have some kind of integration of these experiences. Not just of this is what happened, but how it happened, what's happening physically, something that puts a logical bookmark and say, hey, I'd like to let go of this. Does this move? Like blood. Like if you had a blood clot, they go in and they try to unclot. Well, traumas and experiences are just like that. They get stuck.
Mm.
Unlike where an animal can be chased down by a tiger, like a rabbit, and rabbit's going, well, I can't outrun him, I can't fight him, so I'm just going to, they automatically, without even thinking, they just shut down this system, this autonomic system, and appear to be dead. And in fact, the lion looks at the situation, or tiger, or whatever animal, and goes, hey, I was looking for something else. And he might walk away. So the rabbit's got a chance. More than a chance than the tiger clamping down on him and catching him and eating him. Or at least killing him. And that's what we don't get. That's what I hadn't gotten in my life. Like, I had experiences in my life where I was really hurt, really traumatized. And it wasn't until later on that I realized that no matter how much I had talked about how much my father treated me or my mother or whatever, it didn't get to that kind of jolting, kind of scary feeling in my body.
So that feeling is still in your body, or was still in your body?
Yeah, some of it is, yeah, definitely. But this way I look at it, I'm happy to embrace it when it comes up, right? Because my body will offer up. That's what's so great about the wisdom of it. It's not going to bring something up that I'm unable to handle or the person I'm with. It'll bring up things and do its own metamorphosis of openings, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. You know, it's got that, and then and that's what I feel myself. I feel more space in my life. And that's what I want to show people. And we do it through dance, we do it through movement, we do it through humor. A lot of laughter. A lot of laughter.
So you're working with large groups and with individual one-on-one?
That's right. That's right.
And your clientele, give me some, walks of life, ages?
Well, right now it's based, it seems to revolve around, people who are in the modality of wanting to heal themselves in some way. People who have tried different things.
Physical healing?
Physical, emotional, whatever. Yeah. So with NSI, we address it. It's just all. Can't just work on one and not the other. It's not like going to you go to the doctor and, you got a pain in your tooth. Well, you got to go to the dentist. We don't do that here. So what we're doing here is taking in the whole thing, saying, working with the organism as a whole physiological system.
Okay, so what kind of people show up?
Right now, it's word of mouth. It can be it can be anyone, children, animals.
Oh, this works with children as well.
Yeah.
What about couples? Would this be suitable? Working with a married couple or engaged couple or
families,
partners?
Couples, whatever the couple is, whatever the family is to bring people in a socially engaged, loving, safe relationship. Where there's no more this defensiveness and I'm better than you and this is right, this is wrong, and all these different tones. And everybody's going, am I getting what I need in this relationship? Is they don't feel safe. I never felt safe.
So is there a part of this that is a teaching? Am I supposed to learn how to do some things as a result of working with you?
Yeah, it's a practice. I could say, hey, what would it be like to get up and sing? I'm not good enough. Right? See what happens. And every time, in the cases that I've been doing this, a person says something like, hey, I don't feel good enough, and they start to sing it, and sing it to different people. There's a time where they just start to smile and go, what does this mean? Of course I'm good enough.
And so if I've taken the class with you and I'm back at my job and I start to feel pretty crappy and I don't feel good about myself, you're saying I should sing about it?
That's one way. You could look out the window and see if there's any trees. Look at what feels safe.
So find something that it makes me feel safe, and this should relieve some of these symptoms.
That's right. That's right. And also the engagement of another person.
Another person.
That's the key. Because
a safe person, right?
A safe person.
How do you determine whether a person is safe or not?
That's the thing. I don't have to determine it when I feel it.
Ah, you mean
It's just natural.
You just know it.
You just know it.
How does your body know that?
Because I'm feeling really relaxed, happy. I connect with the eyes. Connecting with the eyes is a big thing. If you can, if you're lucky enough to be able to see, just look at the person and you can see whether the person is pulling away. This is what this work is about. Is helping people read what the face is saying. Everything about the body, and that's what Porges is attempting to teach us, is that these social engagement, these nerves are all connected into lines and spaces on our face that reveal whether I'm open or am I closed. Like animals. Animals don't, hey, you open? They look. They see. They feel.
Right. And you are, at this point, developing training practitioners to do this work in their own field or in opening up a field?
Yeah, this can apply to any field. You can take the work in anything that you do. You can become a neural somatic integration person who goes and does the same thing I'm doing. Just teaching, showing others simple way to move through horrific things.
So how many people have you taught this process to, would you say?
Thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah.
Wow. And you get any feedback after, after teaching it or after?
I would say that at least the people who stay through the course, 90%. 90%.
Get positive feedback?
Yeah. There's always going to be feedback when you're working with consciousness. And I'm not really looking. What I know is if it works for me, and I'm watching it work for others, then it works. I'm not trying to push anyone. Pushing doesn't work.
Right.
I've experienced it. I've done it. It just does not work.
Would you like to demonstrate any part of this process for us here today? Is there any way you would be willing and able to do that?
Yeah, I would like to do that in another setup.
Another setup?
Yeah, we can do this later.
All right. Great. I just think it'd be interesting for folks to see how you would work.
I definitely want to do that. It's such a good suggestion.
In a realistic way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are there any calls on any phone lines lit up here? Do we have any questions from the studio audience?
That person over there.
Hi. Would you like to speak to Arthur?